let's have a conversation. I like to have these little conversations with you all to get your brain thinking about where you are, what you need to do next in order to move your business forward. Because we should be in a state of always thinking about what's the next step? Where do I want to go from here? I have already reached this stage. What do I need to do in order to move me from where I am to where I want to be, right? So that's going to be our conversation today, all about your goals, setting your goals, and understanding as well the difference between your goals and your list of things to do. And I think that's a very, very important distinction that we have to make in our business, because when I talk to clients and I say, okay, what is your goal for this month or your goal for this quarter, they give me a list of things to do. But when you're thinking about your goal, it's not just start a website, start social media, and those kind of things. Your goal is so much bigger than that. Your goal is so much more encompassing than that. Your goal has to speak directly to how is my business going to look different? How is my business going to feel different? How is my audience going to feel different when I've completed this particular thing? How do I actually want them to feel? Right? It could be getting 500 people on my email list. It could be increasing my revenue by $3,000, right? It's the bigger pictures, right? And I know we always talk about these 90-day goals, right? Which is 12 weeks, which is 3 months. But I also want you to think about your day-to-day goals or your weekly goals. So we're at the end of January now, right? This is a great time for you to stop and look at what transpired in January. Look at what transpired in January. Did you hit that goal? What was your goal starting the year? We like to make these resolutions at the beginning of the year, right? It is now 30 days later. Did you hit that goal? Did you accomplish everything that you said? Or even if not everything, 70% of what you said you were going to accomplish. Right? From that 90-day goal, you should have broken it up into 30-day goals, and then, weekly goals, and then daily goals. Did you accomplish what you set out to? And if the answer is no, that's okay. We're not beating up anybody here, right? We all human, life happens. However, at some point in time, we have to stop making excuses. At some point in time, we have to make a decision to get into intentional action in order to experience exactly what we want to experience. And what we want to experience is a profitable business, not so? We want a profitable business. We want an income generating business. But that's not going to happen overnight. That's not going to happen by just hoping and thinking that this should happen to me. Yes, your mindset is so important, but it will happen when you get into intentional action and you take that action from your goal. From your goal, when you've identified this is what I want my business to transform to over the next 28 days. This is how my business is going to be transformed. This is how my business is going to be represented. This is what people are going to know me for and know my message for by the end of these 28 days. This is how much people I am going to interact with and how much people I'm going to touch and how many lives I'm going to change over the next 28 days. From there, from setting out that goal for yourself, then you decide on your strategy. So if my goal is to get 500 people on my email list, what is the strategy that I'm going to use? Let me think through that strategy. What is the lead mag? What are, because it may be more than one thing, what are the lead magnets that I'm going to use to get people onto my email list? Is it something that they need? Is it something that they want? Because besides getting them on my email list, I also want to make sure that I'm adding value to their lives and I'm also serving them at the same time. Tell me if it's making sense, guys, in the comments. Tell me if it's making sense so far, right? So you also decide on the strategy. What is the strategy that I'm going to use? Am I going to do webinars? Am I going to do a competition? Am I going to do lives, but have them register to get on my lives? What exactly am I going to do? Am I going to do a giveaway? What exactly am I going to do? What are the exact steps? Because we want to start to speak in specifics coming out of our goals, right? Our strategy allows us to get even more specific. So it's not just some people. We want 500 people. It's not just some money. We want to make $5,000 consistently, right? We want to get really specific, and that is what your strategy allows you to do coming out of the goal that you are setting for yourself. Making sense, guys? Yes? From your strategy, then you can start to figure out what are the list of things that I need to do. What is my to-do list? My to-do list today might be creating my sales page, right? And then tomorrow it might be creating the emails that I'm going to automate. And then the next day it's going to be creating the artwork to go to promote the lead magnet, right? And then the next 2 weeks, it's about me, my on my list of things to do is exactly how the exact steps of how I'm going to be promoting this lead magnet to get people on my email list. So guys, you understand the difference, right? Your goal is not your list of things to do. It comes out of your list to it comes out of your goal. Your list of things to do comes out of your goal. You decide on the goal, the change in my life, the change in my business, the change I want for my clients when they walk into my store, when they go on my website, when they visit my social media pages, when they read my articles. What is the change that I want? What is the big change that I want in their thoughts, in their hearts? Like, what is that change? What is the big goal for you? What is going to make you feel excited at the end of the month that you can look back? If I actually look back in January and I say, what got you excited in January? What is that thing? Or the things, because it may be more than one thing, right? What are the things that you accomplished that you can literally put your finger on and say, listen, at the end of December, I was here, and now at the end of January, I am here. I'm 2 steps forward, 10 steps forward, but I have moved from where I am. I'm not in the same boat, I'm not in the same ditch. I am now moving forward. And then how can I build on that momentum in my business so that I can continue to move forward and not even get stuck at this stage, but continue to move forward? That comes from setting those intentional goals. You know, we talk about SMART goals. I know a lot of people don't like to use that acronym anymore, right? Because they feel it's old, it's outdated and stuff, but it still has relevance today, right? How specific is your goal? How measurable is it? Would you be able to measure it? You can measure it by the amount of people in your list. You can measure it by the amount of money that you make. You can measure it by the amount of people who come on your lives. How is your movement from one place that you are to where you want to be? How is that going to be measured? How is it attainable? Is it realistic given the tools and resources that you have? Right? And again, time bound. So we get our smart, our time frame is our month, our 30 days, our 28 days in February, right? How are we moving forward? How is that measurable? How are we being very, very specific? Write out that goal. Then determine the strategy. So what are the exact steps? What are the tools that I need to use? Who are the people I need to bring on board? What are the things that I need to make? Right? And how am I bringing all of these things together? How am I automating some of the process? Yes? And then I get into my list of things to do. I hope that's making sense to you guys. I just want you to take today, because we're at the beginning of the week, take today and really sit down with your pen and paper. You know, I'm a huge proponent of writing things down and getting it out of your head, right? Because when you just keep everything in your head, you get confused and you jump from task to task to task to task, and at the end of the week you are totally exhausted, but you still can't even say how you moved, right? What were the income generating activities that you did? How did you sell today? How did you show up today? How did you provide value to your audience today? Those are the questions you have to ask yourself, because you're not just starting a business and coming on social media because somebody told you to come on social media, or because a coach told you that you need to send out emails or anything like that. What is the value that you share with your audience today? How did you show up intentionally with them today? How did you intentionally engage with your audience today? Start conversation, answer conversations. How did you intentionally sell? And I don't mean buy from me, buy from me, buy from me. I don't mean that hard selling, right? Because you can sell through engagement, you can sell through providing value, right? Whether it's on your social media, whether it's through videos, whether it's through your emails, whether it's through your blog, right? So selling doesn't mean that hard selling that we like to think it is. It could still be, and it is sharing of value. So those are the questions you have to ask yourself. We're not just being busy for being busy seek, because a lot of us do that. We're all guilty of it. I know I used to be guilty of it before I understood exactly how to create that formula in my business. You'd be tired at the end of the day, but you didn't make a cent. You didn't engage with any particular client. You didn't follow up with anybody, right? You didn't actually share or even provide them with value, but you were busy. You're doing busy work. Let's move that busy work and start to think about productive, intentional work. But that comes, and guys, I'm tying everything together because it's important for you to understand how all of these things are tied in together. Yeah? That comes from you having very clear goals. Making sense? Yes? Tell me in the comments if it's making sense, right? You start with your goal, leads to your strategy, and then you develop your list of things to do. That is what I want you to remember. That is what I want you to implement. That is what I want you to start as your mantra every single day so that you can intentionally move from where you are to where you actually want to be. Because, guys, you know, the truth is everything is not going to happen immediately, right? Rome was not built in a day. We all know that's old saying. But everything is not going to happen overnight, but it's going to happen over time. Change happens over time, not overnight. Success happens over time, not overnight. Because why? Building a business is a marathon, it's not a sprint. But you have to build that momentum, and you have to do that intentionally, right? Because I always say to you guys, you know, there are people out there who are making money, and their product or their services, whatever their offer is, it might not even be as good as yours. Their price, it might not even be as good as yours. But the thing is that they're intentional in how they show up. They have set very clear goals, right? They have a strategy to get people on board, to build their active and engaged audience. They have a strategy of how to get people on their email list, how to get people to follow them, how to get in front of their ideal clients, and how to speak to their ideal clients. They have a strategy, right? And they're intentional with it. So it doesn't matter how great their offer is. It really doesn't matter how great their offer is. It doesn't matter how great you think your offer is. If you are not being intentional and you're not putting in the work to get it, then you're not going to move, right? And 6 months from now, you're going to be in the same monkey pants, as the old people say, right? And we want to move out of that monkey pants. We want to set up ourselves in such a way that we are actually seeing and experiencing change in our business. And our clients are also experiencing that change because we are sharing value and we're making them excited and we're solving their challenges and we're making their lives better. Right? Understand? So, moving forward, let's do that. Let's go back to the drawing board. If we did not meet your goal for January, let's go back to the drawing board. Look at what you said in January you wanted to do. do an audit of yourself. Why did this not happen? Was it because of my time? Was it because I didn't have the resources? Was it because I didn't have the tools? And if that is the case, then what am I going to do differently today and tomorrow? Right? What am I going to do differently today and tomorrow to ensure that I can actually get into action and get it done? So by the time February rolls around, the end of February rolls around, you can actually see some type of progress in your business, right? Because it's about action. It's about taking intentional action and doing the work. It's all great to manifest. I love manifesting. I love journaling. I love that meditation. I do all of those things. And yes, it is part of your process, but you also need to work, right? Because it doesn't work by itself. Nothing works by itself, right? You still have to work, right? You can pray all you want. You can do all the other things that you want. You have to put in the work to get exactly what you want.